photography today?
Yeah, sure. It's very brief because I have to go, but I commend you for your patience and perseverance.
Do you?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Look, we're in a democracy. I think it's great that you know, we're out here and talking about issues, and you know, it's we truly believe in reaching out and in this democratic process. You know, we don't. You know, I'm a person of faith. I believe that we should talk to everyone. I don't hate anyone. I don't believe in discrimination. You know, a lot of stories lately about bullying. It's terrible. That is terrible. But tolerance cannot be based on repressing somebody's point of view. And my point has been that, you know, I love everyone, but my view is that the marriage is, you know, between a man and a woman, and that by itself is not discrimination. Discrimination to me would be abusing, bullying, discrimination. That's something that all Americans have to reject. And again, I mean, it's uphill to do what we're doing, and not a lot of people doing what we're doing. So, but I'm happy, satisfied, and this is a work in progress. But we have a Latino community that is growing, that is much more sophisticated, more diverse, and but still deeply care about their values. And I think that on immigration, you know, I'm just so frustrated how both parties have played with the issue of immigration for political purposes, and I think we have to somehow reestablish that coalition that we had to pass immigration reform, which includes legalization, but also a guest worker program. We cannot have comprehensive reform without a guest worker program. And then also, you know, defend our values, defend life, defend marriage, and also defend policies that actually create jobs and empower Latino businesses. I mean, I think I talked to you.
So can I ask you? Sure. You mentioned bullying, and that's sort of been a headline, you know, a story in the headlines recently. And I'm sort of curious, you know. Do you think, you know, the National Organization for Marriage, people that are out here promoting traditional marriage, do you think that in any way perpetuates sort of the inferiority complexes that maybe some of these gay teens have suffered with and are... like, I think there's a stigma to being gay, and do you think it perpetuates
that? Are there
anyway?
people that are boneheaded and treat gays in an offensive manner? Absolutely.
Do you think that having a state-sponsored, you know, discriminatory system in any way
because you're assuming that by defending marriage between a man and a woman, that means discrimination. I don't believe that is discrimination.
What about like don't ask, don't tell? How do you feel about that?
Well, don't ask, don't tell is different because, look, I believe that nobody can be harassed. So in employment, you cannot discriminate against gays or anyone. The military is different. It's not civil society. It's a military environment where you have to preserve unit cohesion, and that's why I think don't ask, don't tell works. I mean, I don't think anybody should. The military should not be a forum for people to express their. There shouldn't be any conversation about really sexuality. It's homosexual or heterosexual.
Don't you think, like, within unit cohesion, there's a discussion of families, and this is my loved one, and she's back at home, and I'm over here. Like, shouldn't those gay and lesbian soldiers that go out and put their lives on the line for us, for our rights, shouldn't they be able to serve openly? Shouldn't their families be protected in case they die?
But there's a reality about the military, and again, I think we want to make sure that in that environment, people with a diversity of views can work together, and that's why I do support Don't Ask, Don't Tell, and I don't support the repeal. Again, we have to be very careful when we throw out statements like discrimination or intolerance. I think at the end, tolerance has to be based on truth, and if we take out truth, then what is tolerance? Not everything's relative, and I think that, again, we have to speak out against bullying. By the way, bullying doesn't happen exclusively to gays.
Right, but one in three children who teens that commit suicide are gay. And so why is that so high in your opinion? That's disproportionate, right?
I think we're very uncharitable, and I think we have to teach charity. We live in a society that's very materialistic. People only care about themselves. People are constantly making fun of others, being intolerant. But
what does materialism have to do with gays, teens being bullied because they're gay?
When you're selfish and you only care about yourself, you're gonna make fun of everything and everyone. I think when you care of others and when you see in the other person a human being, you're gonna treat them with respect. So I think that has to do with that. I don't think that if we have gay marriage, that means that you're gonna have less bullying or anything like that. I just think that we need to teach virtue to our kids, and virtue means being respectful of others, being respectful of other human beings. So, I mean, that's what I believe in, and but we live in a society that frankly it's losing its values, and that's part of what we're trying to do here. I mean, look what's happening in Europe. A very secular society, a very selfish society. I think America is based on Christian principles, and I think we have to defend those principles. And so, I mean, that's how I think about it.
Right, but you know, there are lots of, you know, I think the institution of marriage, and we've heard you say and others say on this tour, is under assault in this country, right? The divorce rate is so high, and yet here we have thousands, maybe millions of people who actually want to enter into it because they believe in it, because they respect it, because they grew up in it. They want to protect their children, they want to protect their families, and yet here we are having a bus tour, you know, saying no, that's wrong. So how you know, if marriage is so under assault, why aren't we asking more people to come into that institution?
Well, I think we have to go back to what marriage is all about. It's an institution of natural law. That's a philosophical argument. Not
what does natural law mean to you?
Natural law, as it has the tradition, the philosophical tradition, is that a man is born with certain dignity that's inherent to himself or herself, based on just because of the fact they're human beings. For example, we're born free. You and I are born free. It's not government that gives us freedom. We're born free because we're human beings.
Right. Government restricts our freedom in some ways.
In some ways, absolutely.
Right.
So, institution of marriage is something that is based on that natural law, that is between a man and a woman, because it satisfies three concepts. First, that loving relationship, but secondly, also that it has a function to procreate, and so a family can grow and have children. That's part of natural law. Now, many religions use the concept of natural law, but it's something that we can agree on by just studying our nature. Our whole system of civil rights and human rights is based on precisely on natural law. Without the philosophical concept of natural law, our whole system false, because if we're not willing to recognize that human beings have certain rights, you know, what is the source of rights? It's because they're human beings. So if there's no consensus on natural law, then our society is at peril. But again, I must say that everybody has a dignity, and we should treat everyone with respect. How
does the 14th...
Just interrupt, we do have to wrap the conversation up pretty soon, because we have a meeting to go to.
I'm sorry.
Okay, can I have 3 questions?
Sure.
Is that okay? In like less than 5 minutes?
Yes.
Is that okay? Well, we're done after this. I promise.
Dan and Coco Peters.
Okay. You know, I'm actually a straight person. I'm heterosexual. I'm drawn to this issue because what I think we saw in California with Proposition 8 was an example of a majority group voting to limit the rights of a minority, and I think it sets an extremely dangerous precedent for all minority groups. And I'm curious to sort of know, you know, what your thoughts on like that. Like we couldn't have a proposition that said black people can go to school with white people. We couldn't have a proposition that said...
That's difference, because racial differences are natural. I don't think, and I'll say this in a very, you know, try to understand my point of view.
Right.
I believe that people have many inclinations, but you're not defined by sexual inclinations. I may be married, may fall in love with my secretary, but you know what? I control myself. It's part of our nature that we have to sometimes battle against that nature. It's called self-control, and it's part of you know, timeless philosophical tradition. So I believe that a person can have those sexual inclinations towards the same sex, but that doesn't mean they have to leave out those sexual inclinations.
So you think it's a choice to be gay? To be attracted to men or be attracted to the same sex? Not necessarily.
I don't know about that. It may be that you may be attracted naturally
But so
that doesn't mean you have to live out.
Yeah, but if that's inherent, if you're attracted naturally, it's inherent. Shouldn't we protect that?
No, because
I don't think that I could make the choice to be gay.
As a heterosexual person, I may be and married, I may be attracted again to another woman, but I make the choice not to.
But could you be attracted to another man?
Huh? I haven't had that experience, but I guess somebody could be attracted to another man. Right. But again, the inclination does not define you, and that's why our nature is to actually live out as men or women. Right. So that's the point on that.
Because I don't think that being straight is a behavior. You know what I mean? Like, I could choose to go and have sex with her, and that would be a lesbian act, but like the fact that I'm sexually attracted to men, 100% of the time, like that's not, even if I'm not acting, that's still who.
We said we'd have 3 questions. I'm not sure how you're counting them, but if you want to ask your last question.
Okay, do you feel like this tour has been a success?
Again, I think I'm very satisfied with it, and we have managed expectations. I do believe that for what we wanted, it has been a success. Again, we manage expectations. This is what we're doing.
How would you define success?
Success is well, numerically, if we get enough Latinos to vote for Carly Fiorina, that's a success. The last poll that came out from Survey USA in 1 week showed an increase of 12 points for Carly Fiorina. It's not only the bus tour, we're running ads in Spanish, TV ads that come out tomorrow. So we are having an impact. We don't have to convince everyone. So if we get 32 to 34%, Carly Fiorina has a chance of winning. She needs that percentage of the Latino vote. Right. So that's what we're doing. I mean, I didn't expect masses of people following us, or it's going to take time. It's going to take time.
Well, I appreciate you talking to us. I know that I wish we could have had this discourse more often. This is all that we sort of intended to have.
I will say something to all of you. I mean, again, I respect you following us and everything, but there's one thing, there has to be tolerance on both sides. I reject all sorts of bullying, but I must say, sometimes we feel bullied.
How did we bully you? Because he got assaulted yesterday.
First of all, I don't know the facts. I saw what happened. I mean, there are many versions of what happened. What I saw was different. I mean, if you put a camera on a person's face, you're invading a person's privacy. Now, legally, if you're a public figure, can you argue on a public figure? I don't know, but you may. But that doesn't mean that you can put a camera on a person's face.
But he knew what we were doing.
I think the conversation has to wind down now because we're past.
But the whole point is, again, there has to be tolerance in both sides, and I think that I will admit that there are many on our side that are wrong in the way they treat, and in their discourse is very offensive. But I would say the same way on the other side, and that's how I think we can improve.
Yeah,
on
but
both
we weren't
sides.
part of that counter protest. We weren't part of the counter protesters. We're not affiliated with that union. Actually, my boss was from a different union who didn't come out, and so to not talk to us, to send the guy to hit our cameraman. I feel like it got very different.
At this point, you're making claims that
but we didn't send anyone to hit it.
Okay, I thought you worked at the law firm that you worked at.
He's a friend of mine, a colleague, but we didn't send anyone. For example, making those allegations is just not truthful. I didn't send anyone to hit anyone. And frankly, I haven't followed your blog, I must say. I've read a couple of bits and pieces, and I didn't see, you got like 10% of what I said. Hopefully what I'm getting now, you will transmit to your readers.
We will, definitely. But it's been the only interview that you've allowed. We would have liked to have this conversation.
We began talking, but one of the reasons why we also stopped talking is because I have no problem in talking if you're going to be respectful of my views and transmit my views. But if you take what I say, and then twist it or not quote everything that I say, then you're spinning a story. Right. And then
we played the entire video of the interview.
But
remember, the entire interview.
Press is being, to me, objective, not coming with preconceived concepts or and.
Do you think Fox News does that?
I'm not here to defend Fox News. Well, no, I don't think Hannity does it. I don't think Rachel Maddow does it. Do you think Rachel Maddow does it?
No, I don't. I think that our media is becoming very polarized
but
in that way.
I don't believe in ideological media, and we have a problem with the media. And,
I agree.
And you guys have to define whether you're press or you're activists.
Right.
And I don't think you're pure press the way I see it, because you're advocating for a position, and it's clear from your writing. So.
But we're still trying to have like a civil discourse. I'm not yelling. I think that we have interesting conversations. I think that people would have benefited from hearing our conversation.
But I don't yell to anyone. I mean, I just.
Neither do I. Have you seen me yell once?
No, but I mean, if you say that Alfonso is full of rage,
I never said you're full of rage.
Oh, we can quote you. That's the thing. I mean, there are blogs they're saying from your track or whatever. And again, I didn't read everything. I must admit, I haven't read everything. But you know, these bits and pieces where I said,
when you refuse, because when you refuse to have these interviews and these civil discourses, then the story becomes about what you do, and you don't have any opportunity to send your own narrative.
Initially, we were having good conversations.
That was the first 2 days.
Yeah,
and then you instituted the media block.
But after 2 days of talking a lot like this, and I see that my views are not being.
Once.
No, we talked several times. There was no reflection. I say, well, you know. But in any case, look, this is just a beginning. We may see each other again.
Yeah.
And again, and the other thing is that I can't talk to you in every single stop, have a conversation.
I mean, it's not like you guys been doing much at all the stops, Alfonso. I mean, you had time to talk to us at some of the stops. There are places you didn't get off the bus.
That is true, but don't assume that we were only talking to people in the places we were stopping. Again, I think that.
Well, Allegra told us it was specifically us that you couldn't talk to.
Huh?
It was specifically us that you wouldn't talk to.
Oh no, I can tell you. Yeah, I wasn't talking to you. That's right.
Yeah, and, but you were saying earlier that you believe in like discourse.
If I truly believe in discourse, but the discourse has to be truthful. You know, it takes two to talk.
Can you tell me one thing that I lied about? Just one thing. Well, I will correct anything on the record because I'm not here to misrepresent anything.
It was just, for example, that I was, full of rage, that I looked full of rage or something like that.
I think that there were times that you were frustrated by the counter-protesters. Like in San Jose, for example. I think that you were frustrated.
If you have a megaphone and I can't speak, and I told the guy, drop your megaphone and we can have a conversation. But overall, I'm really, satisfied. Again, this is part of the process. I have no problem. The only thing, again, is to be truthful, and second, to be tolerant. And to be tolerant has to go both ways. I'm not going to make generalizations and say, all Christian people out there who believe in marriage are not offensive. There are some, unfortunately, that are offensive. But I'm not going to make the generalization that those protesters that came out supporting gay marriage were, not angry, or were, some were very intolerable.
We're 5 minutes past our 5-minute mark.
Anyway.